What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing home the bacon, MLB DFS video. It is Wednesday. It is April 2nd. We are back. If you've never been to the channel before, welcome for the first time. If you're new to the channel since a couple of, MLB season, you know what to expect, but we're here to help you bring home the bacon. What I mean by that is we are doing things a little bit differently. Videos a little bit longer than what you're probably used to. But we break down every single game. So we have a ton of games starting at 10, at 12, 10 East or Central. So depending on wherever you're at. And then we have, I think it's a 10 game main slate. And then there's a 4 game night slate, which is 5:35. So it's kind of what we are used to on a Wednesday or usually a Thursday. We have early games as well. So we break each game down. We look at the pitchers. We look at the batters. We use Outlier to do that. We look at BVP. We look at just history. We look at everything for you. If you need a little bit more of a boost, we do have FTA Plus right here, $10 for a week. You can get everything under the MLB tab. So go check that out right now. $30 for a month, $200 for a year. We also try to have giveaways every single day. We try to have 2 giveaways a day, and here is how to win. First off, you got to like this video, you got to be a subscriber to the channel, and you got to leave a comment on this video for the comment picker to pick you up. You do all 3 of those, and this video gets at least 50 likes, you'll have a chance at a free month or a free week of FTA Plus. 100 likes on this video, a free month. 150 likes, a free year. 200 or more likes on this video, a chance at a lifetime pass. Second way to win, somewhere in this video there'll be a keyword. I will say it or key phrase, type it in for a second chance at a free week. Now, you guys have killed it. We've had 3, this will be the 3rd straight video, 3 straight days of giving away a yearly pass to one of you guys. So let's see who the 2 winners are. So even if they have the keyword or key phrase in this comment, we're still going to re-roll it for it. But this is for a free year due to getting 155 likes yesterday. Sulla29. There you go. They took Underdog from us here in New York, so you'll be seeing quite a bit of me. Yeah, I can't even play Underdog where I'm at. I can't play Underdog. I can't play Prize Picks, but I can sports bet on Fanduel and DraftKings. I can't play Yahoo, but I can play DFS. It makes no sense. But congratulations, Sulla. I think this is the first time I've seen you comment, and you just won yourself a free year of FTA Plus. So all you got to do is email me, dfshelp1@gmail.com. Let me know if you have a username on your on the website. If you do not, let me know a username, email, and a password you would like, and we are going to get you set up for your free year. So congratulations. Again, you guys can come back today, tomorrow, next day, next day, next day. You could pile up the years. Congratulations to you. Now we're going to re-roll it because the keyword or key phrase was insomnia last night. Is it here, Alabama Jones? Let's see if it is here or not. I don't think it was. What's going on, everybody? That's not what I wanted to do. Nope. Sorry about that. So you would have, had you had the keyword, would have won a free week. And you'll win again. You've been here multiple times. I already know that. There you go, Thomas Markso. There you go, Insomnia. Please hit me up, dfshelp1@gmail.com, and we will get you set up for your free week of FTA Plus. Now, again, we have MLB today, we have NBA today, we have PGA tomorrow, we have MMA on Saturday. We're very excited. We do all of those sports. We have the Masters next week, I believe. Yeah, I think the Masters are next week. We love the Masters. We love some early bets. I already put some early bets into our free Discord. So in the description of this video is our free Discord. You can check it out today. So that being said, we go game by game. We look at everything. So we've got an early game here we're not going to cover. It's not on any slate. Texas Rangers at Cincinnati Reds. So we're going to start with Pittsburgh Pirates at Tampa Bay, or they are in New York Yankees AAA Stadium, or Spring Training Stadium, I should say. So then we dig into that. We've got Mr. Skeens versus Mr. Pepio. Now, Paul Skeens, obviously, didn't factor in the decision on opening day. 2 runs on 3 hits and 2 walks while striking out 7 across 5.1 innings. Last year, he did face Tampa Bay once, 7 innings, 8 strikeouts, 1 home run, 1 earned run, 1 walk, averaged 25.6. And that's kind of what we talk about. So when we look at the price, He is very expensive. He is a stud. He's got great numbers overall. 170 Ks last year, sub 2 ERA, 11-3 record on a very terrible offensive team in the Pirates. I like this matchup here. You're paying up a ton though. That's the problem. So he's going to be very highly owned on this one. Probably going to be the highest owned pitcher on the slate, which you can find under the cheat sheet on the website. And I did get something. Apparently, some of our cheat sheets and some of our web pages aren't integrated, or they don't show up if you're using Microsoft Edge. I don't know why. It's the first time I've heard that. So if you guys use Microsoft Edge, let me know if you can't see anything, or maybe it was just one person's computer problems. I got to figure out if it's an ongoing issue or if it was just one person. But we'll have Skeens on there. He, obviously, number one pitcher. Very expensive though. You got to get basically 2 times value. So over 20 fantasy points. If we need 25 to 30 out of him to feel comfortable picking him up. I mean, he's got great numbers. If you want to go sports betting, I would look at Paul Skeens, maybe 6+ strikeouts, 7+ strikeouts, whatever that line is, which you can find an outlier. But yeah, I would use him. And then Pepio here. Last year, Pittsburgh, 1 inning, or 3.1 innings, 1 start, 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. Really didn't get the strikeouts. Didn't really get much. The way they're hitting, I'm probably, if I'm taking a pitcher, I'm looking at Skeens. I'm not looking at Pepio. Pittsburgh bats against Pepio. No one's had a home run. But if you look at against right-handed pitching, they've hit very well. So like Pittsburgh stack isn't too far-fetched. You see, like, O'Neal Cruz had 15 bombs. He gets on, he could steal a base. I don't mind him in a stack. McCutcheon's been on fire. I would look at McCutcheon. 244 batting average. He hits better against righties. Got 14 bombs. Cheaper option for your outfield, especially on an early slate here. Brian Reynolds, another one. 279 batting average, 18 bombs. I would look at them. Now, when you're looking at stacks, anywhere between 3 to 5 bats, you should use in a stack. So if you are looking for a couple more in this lineup, IKF with 7 bombs, batted 282 against righties. You could look at him. Jack Sawinski hasn't really done much. I probably would fade him. Cheap option would be Tommy Pham, as long as he doesn't try fighting anyone out in that outfield. Tampa Bay bats against Skeens. Diaz has a home run, but that's basically it. I would not be using Tampa Bay bats. I would use Skeens, and I would look at Pittsburgh as your bats in this one, if you're even going with that one. Kansas City at Milwaukee is next. You got Freddie Peralta versus Cole Ragans. Freddie Peralta, I watched him against the Yankees opening day. His pitch count gets up there. Got the loss against the Yankees. Did have 8 strikeouts though. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 walk across 5 innings. His pitch count was just high. I wasn't expecting that. So you look at this against Kansas City. They are a good team. So we can go in and just see how he's done in his career against them, or what bats jump out to you. The strikeouts have been there for him, and it's at home for him. So if you look at home here, 4.08 ERA last year at home. For whatever reason, he struggled at home. And if he starts throwing some balls, his pitch count skyrockets pretty quickly. Kansas City bats against him. No one's had success against right-handed pitching. I mean, Bobby Witt Jr. last year batted 336 with 28 bombs. You had Melendez with 17 bombs. You had Hunter Renfroe with 10. You had Vinny Pasquantino with 15. Jonathan India and Massey both double digits. Salvador Perez as well. Peralta might be a sneaky one, though. I think people are going to be on Kansas City. If I were to use any Kansas City bats, I'm looking at Bobby Witt, Melendez, Pasquantino, maybe Hunter Renfroe. But I don't know. I kind of like Freddie Peralta here. It's just if his pitch count gets up there, we're going to get screwed if he doesn't go deep in a game. 8 Ks against the Yankees, though, and they still beat him. I'm okay with Freddie Peralta. I don't, probably more tournament. I don't know if I'd play him in cash. If you look at Cole Ragans, though, I mean, Cole Ragans did not factor in the decision. 10-inning loss, 3 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks over 5 innings, struck out 3. The strikeouts were low there. Milwaukee, though, they do strike out. He had success against them last year, 6 innings, 8 strikeouts, 23.1, and they have not looked as good this year. So Cole Ragans, I think both pitchers are great. I think they're both over 8K. I think probably more both tournament type picks. If we want to go off of Reagan's and you want to go contrarian and you want to go a Milwaukee stack of some sort, William Contreras against a lefty I usually love, had 4 bombs last year, batted .313. Eric Haase had a home run yesterday, batted .300, only 20 at bats, but batted .300 against lefties. Rhys Hoskins I usually like to take against lefties, 8 bombs last year. And then, you got Bryce Terang or Yelich. Yelich hit .322. If both of those guys get on, you could get stolen bases, which equal extra fantasy points for you. So tournament-wise, I think both pitchers are tournament-wise. I'm leaning more towards a Kansas City stack, but I actually like both teams as a stack for tournaments, not cash though. Angels at the Cardinals. We do have some weather concern. It's the same storm system that is currently demolishing my house with rain. Not demolishing, but pounding my house with rain. I didn't know if I'd be able to get this video out because I thought the tornado sirens were going off. It's just been pouring and lightning since last night. But yeah, so in this matchup here, Sonny Gray versus Yusei Kikuchi. Gray allowed 2 earned runs on 4 hits, 2 walks while striking out 6 across a very bad Twins team last week. Splits-wise, he's faced the Angels once this year, 6 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, or once last year, but he had 9 strikeouts. So he had 19.5 fantasy points and still gave up 5 earned runs. So if you were to remove those earned runs, we're probably looking at 25, 28 fantasy points, maybe even close to 30. He's had success. Pitching at home, he's been way better at home. My problem is the weather. I'm probably avoiding this game. Kikuchi, I would not be on. I don't trust him. I don't trust him whatsoever. He didn't face St. Louis last year. I am off of the Kikuchi. If I were to use bats against Sonny Gray, Angels bats, Ohapi, Trout, I would use. Jorge Soler, I would use. Chenul, you could use as part of your stack. Taylor Ward, I am okay with that one as well. St. Louis bats against Kikuchi, never seen him or one person, but if I were to take bats, I would look at Lars Nootbaar, I would look at Gorman, I would look at Wilson Contreras, and probably Nolan Arenado if I were to stack this one. I'm probably avoiding this game just because I don't know if this game's going to get played. The weather's going to scare me a little bit. I don't want to screw our lineups over by having a delay or since it all starts there. Maybe it gets delayed, then it gets postponed, and then you're just screwed. And kind of the same thing with Minnesota, Chicago. Same storm system going through both of them. Pablo Lopez versus Sean Burke. Lopez here, pitching on the road last year, 4.50 ERA. Faced Chicago White Sox twice last year. 8 hits allowed, 9 innings, 5 earned runs. Did have 11 strikeouts, though, which is wild. Only struck out 3 Cardinals bats. 8 hits, no walks over 5 innings on opening day. And then Sean Burke. Did get the win against the Angels on Thursday. 3 hits, no walks, strikeout 3. The strikeouts were low, though. And did not go deep in the game like you would like. Weather being a concern yet again in this one scares me a little bit. So we look at this one, and we can just look at some of the bats that even make any sense right now, and we'll go from there. And I think I did forget to mention, but after we go through all of these games on here, we're going to give you the top bats that have a 10 out of 10 matchup rating right now. These are through 10,000 simulations. We do 20,000 a day. Seeing as how the main slate is locking at noon, we'll probably only do about 10,000. Usually we do 20,000 if it's a main slate at 6 Eastern or 6 Central. So looking at that, we'll go through that at the end just to see if you guys enjoy that. Now, FanDuel has a very, very early slate, then an early only, and then in May. It's, for whatever reason, DraftKings and FanDuel cannot talk to each other and have the same main slates, have the same slates. So it sucks. It really does. If you're not using Sean Burke and you are using Minnesota bats, no one's seen him before, but against right-handed pitching, and if the weather's not a concern, Willie Castro, I'd be okay with. Byron Buxton, we take him till he gets hurt, which he will. Matt Wallner is probably one of my favorite plays of the day. Trevor Larnach would be a cheaper option. I really feel like you could do a Minnesota stack as a cheap option. White Sox against Pablo Lopez. No one's had much success. Right-handed pitching, we kind of look at this. Corey Lee would be a very cheap option. Only batted .211 though last year. Benintendi, Benny Biceps you could look at. Luis Robert, 13 bombs last year. Andrew Vaughn is another one I would look at if I were to stack. But again, I'm probably avoiding this game just because I'm scared of this weather. I don't want any sort of delays, especially with all of the games being early here. So we're going to do the keyword early today. So if you are still listening, congratulations. But the keyword is Verdansk or Verdansk or Verdansk, whichever you want to say, because Verdansk is back tomorrow. If you guys play Warzone, if you watch Warzone, I'm very excited for it. We put some video game play here on this channel before, but I'm going to create just a gaming YouTube channel, and I will let you guys know. I mean, I don't know if you guys want to watch it. I have fun playing it. I'm not good. I wouldn't say I am the best, but I'm not the worst. And I've put in thousands of hours in this Warzone game when I have time. And for Verdansk being back, one-shot snipers being back, I cannot wait. So I'm gonna probably be doing a separate YouTube channel. I'll let you guys know. But that is the keyword of the day. Let me know down below if you guys play, if you guys are excited, and if you guys would watch your boy just get demolished in this game when it comes back out. But we are back to Washington at Toronto. You got Mackenzie Gore, who no one was on. I wasn't on. Last week, he dominated. Did not get the decision in the game, but had 6 hits, 6 innings, and 13 strikeouts. Now, people are going to flock to this and be like, oh, I got to use him. Obviously, he had a ton of fantasy points going up against Toronto, in Toronto. Surprised he's not higher priced than he is. For tournaments, I'm okay with Mackenzie Gore. But I think a lot of people are going to be on him because of what he did last week. And Toronto can usually hit lefties. Whether or not they do, we'll see. Then you got Easton Lucas. So he is his plan A is to have him pitch if he did not pitch yesterday, which tells me he is a bullpen guy, which tells me we're not using him because he's not. Yeah, you can see he doesn't start. I guess tournaments you could use him, but I can't trust him that he's even going to play enough. And that's the problem. Like, if he's not going to get us 4 innings, I doubt he gets what we need. I don't feel comfortable with that. Washington's only Nate Lowe's the only one that's faced him. Against left-handed pitching, Washington has done worse. So as you can see, red means not good. So in this Washington Nationals versus Toronto Blue Jays game, if I were to take any bats against Lucas, probably C.J. Abrams, James Wood, not the actor, Nate Lowe, I would look at. You could look at Dylan Cruz. You want to go even cheaper? I don't know if he'll start. Ahmed Rosario. Hybert Ruiz, if you're trying to get a 5-man stack there. And then Toronto bats against Gore. Davis Schneider has a home run. Vladdy has a home run. Vladdy has not hit one for us yet when we've picked him. And you can see Toronto hits worse against lefties than they do righties. They do hit righties better. The only person who does is Heineman, and we're not going to use him. He batted 167, which the fact that he batted 167 and was better against lefties last year tells me all I need to know. But if we were to break down and use some of these, Andres Jimenez, I do like. Vladdy, I do like. He batted 308 last year against lefties. Santander, being a switch hitter, I would use those guys. Now, if you want to fill out a full Toronto stack, you could look at George Springer. You could look at Davis Schneider. It really just depends on what lineup's going to be out there. Now, being a Wednesday early game after a day game after a night game, you might see like some of these players sitting for a day of rest or whatever. So watch that. That sometimes happens when it's a day game after a night game, especially catchers. They sometimes sit. So to summarize this one, if I were to use a pitcher, it would be Gore, but it is a very tournament option only for me. I'm not using Luke. Cubs at the Athletics. You've got Jeffrey Springs versus Jameson Taillon. Now, Taillon last week we wanted to target against. Gave up 6 runs on 9 hits over 4.1 innings. They lost 8-1 to the Diamondbacks. We had a Diamondback stack, and it worked out. Now we're going up against the Athletics. Has not faced them last year. Pitching on the road last year, 4.58 ERA. Kind of like Athletics are sneaky a little bit. Jeffrey Springs, we did use him last week here in the win against Seattle. Give up 3 hits on a walk. struck out 9 because Seattle strikes out a ton. The Cubs bullpen has also kind of let them down this year. I mean, they've also put up 18 runs in this series. What was that? Monday night? And their catcher hit for the cycle. If I were to use a pitcher, it would be Springs, but I don't know if I want either of these. I think I kind of like the offenses more than I would rather take the pitchers in this. We just have other pitchers that we could use today. So we look in this one. Cubs bats against Springs. Yeah, I mean, basically one start, a couple of them have one at bat. If you look at how they've done against lefties last year, you're looking at Nico Horner batted 328. I would look at him. You're looking at Dansby Swanson, 4 home runs, 318 last year. I would look at him. Carson Kelly, we usually like to take against lefties. If he probably gets the start here over Amaya, we'll kind of watch that, but I mean, he's a cheap catching option today. Maybe Pete Crow Armstrong you could look at. And Kyle Tucker. Usually Kyle Tucker hits lefties better. He did not last year because he was hurt a majority of the year. He had 103 at-bats, 262 batting average with 5 bombs. I would still look at Kyle Tucker, King Tuck here in this matchup. Athletic bats against Tyon. Langoliers has a home run. I would use Langoliers. I would probably look at JJ Bleday. Definitely looking at Brent Rooker. Believe he had a home run yesterday as well. Lawrence Butler's another one. Seth Brown. Like, this feels like a weird one, and I don't say this much, but I think the Athletics, you could have multiple different stacks here. Just a different combination of 4 to 5 of these Athletics and feel pretty good about it. So I am fading Tyon. I am looking at Athletics as a stack. I'm fading both pitchers. I'm looking at the Cubs as a stack as well. Next one, we've got San Francisco at Houston. When is Jordan going to wake up? Hopefully soon. Hopefully. We've got Framber Valdez versus Raup. Valdez beat the Mets last week, struck out 4, gave up 4 hits, 2 walks, 7 innings. We used him last week. Splits-wise, he faced San Francisco once last year, 8 hits allowed, 5 earned runs, -5. He only went 4 innings. It's one of those where he had a no-hitter and then a fantastic starts and then just got shelled. I would like this a little bit more if it were in San Francisco because it's a bigger ballpark for pitchers. Pitching at home last year, though, he did have a 2.69 ERA. And then we look on the flip side. We look at Landon Raup. 5th starter locked in. He did a battle with Hayden Birdsong. We look at this. Not much to go off of, as you can see. 14 games pitched, only 3 starts last year. At home, only 1 start on the road, no ERA. That one scares me. I'm probably looking at pitching or bats, not the pitching. So against Valdez, left-handed pitch. I mean, you can see San Francisco hits well. I would look at Willie Adames. No, he didn't do very well against lefties. I would look at Matt Chapman. I would look at Tyler Fitzgerald, who batted 318 last year against lefties. Lamont Wade had 324. Casey Schmidt had 311. Elliot Ramos, 370 with 10 bombs. Elliot Ramos, I believe, had a home run yesterday as well. I'm looking at Ramos as my number 1. Chapman is my number 2. Probably Lamont Wade, if he's in there, is my number 3. Tyler Fitzgerald is my number 4. Maybe even Wilmer Flores. I don't know if he gets in there as the start, but I would use him if I were to stack in that one. And then Houston, Raup never really faced him. Against righties last year, not very many did well. But if I were to look, I'd look at Yonder Diaz, batted 297. I would look at the little man, Jose Altuve, batted 270 with 16 bombs. Isaac Paredes, you could look at. Jeremy Pena. Jordan, is he going to wake up? I don't know if I want to pay up that much, but he's due. I could see him. Or if you want to pay down a little bit from him, I would go Christian Walker against. So I am off of the pitching in this game. I would rather just have a stack for both sides. Cleveland at San Diego, Dylan Cease versus Ben Lively. Cease last week didn't factor into the decision. 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, struck out 7. He looks homeless with that beard. -3.3 his last start last year. It's a pitcher's ballpark. I like that. I would look at that for sure. Now, Cleveland, depends on which Cleveland team's going to show up. And then Ben Lively. again, another one that did not factor in the start on opening day. 3 runs, 4 hits, 3 strikeouts. The strikeouts were low. Against San Diego, they do hit righties better than lefties. That's probably what I'm looking at. So San Diego gets lively. They haven't, one start basically, or less than a start, barely any. Then you look against right-handed pitching, they hit right-handed pitching better. So if Luis Ariz kind of started off very slow, he should bounce back. Bogarts, Cronenworth, Machado, Tatis, Jackson Merrill had a home run yesterday. I like a San Diego stack. And then Cleveland bats against Cease. Hedges has a home run. Gabriel Arias has a home run. Batted .571 and 7 at bats. Stephen Kwan, I'm okay with them. Against right-handed pitching, you can see like maybe Nolan Jones, Lane Thomas be a cheaper option. Kyle Manzardo would be a cheap option. I don't think very many people on. Jose Ramirez would be another one. His ankle looks to be fine, so I'm probably leaning more towards Dylan Cease. But if you want to go against that because he is so expensive, I don't mind a Cleveland stack there, but I kind of like a San Diego stack a little bit. Detroit at Seattle, you got Tariq Skubal versus Luis Castillo. Now, Seattle loves to strike out. Both of these teams last year struck out a ton. I like both of these pitchers. I don't really want the offenses. I want both of the pitchers. They're both very expensive. I would not be surprised if Skubal strikes out 9. Splitswise faced twice last year, 18 strikeouts, averaged 30.3. So if you look against them last year, had 9 strikeouts in that game. And then where did he face them before? Did I miss it? Where's the second game? Back-to-back games. Back-to-back 9 strikeouts in those games. Again, I didn't even look at those numbers. That's exactly what I would look at. They love to strike out. Seattle, even at home, I think strikes out more than they do on the road. Detroit strikes out a ton as well. Castillo had 4 strikeouts last week. Detroit last year, 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. Another one. I'm not looking at the offenses. I would look at both pitchers, both cash or tournament. I don't care. I would take him in sports betting. If you can find a line and you can get like you could put a parlay of like 7+ strikeouts, I think they both hit that easily. As long as they, weather doesn't become a concern and they don't get hurt. And then New York at Miami as the last game on the opening or the main slate. You got Clay Holmes, who did not have the best. He did get the loss against the Astros last week. 3 runs, 2 earned, 5 hits, 4 walks, 4.2 innings, 4 strikeouts. He is not a starter. I don't know what they're trying to do. I don't trust him. At 7,000 for tournaments, I'm okay with that. But yeah, I would probably look at Miami as a stack. And then Connor Gillespie we used last week because he was so cheap. 4 runs, 4 hits, 5 innings, 4 strikeouts, 4 walks. Everything was 4. Did not do very well for us. I'm off of both pitchers. I'm looking at the offenses. I think the Mets offense first and foremost. Against Gillespie, the Mets 1 batter. Soto's the only one. Against right-handed pitching, yeah. I would look at Pete Alonso. I would look at Juan Soto, Jesse Winker, Tyrone Taylor. And you're looking for a 5th one for a stack. Lindor's expensive and he hasn't done a ton for us, but he hit 277 against righties last year with 22 bombs. You got Brandon Nimmo, who would be a cheaper option as well. So a Mets full stack, I am okay. And then if we don't trust Clay Holmes, because personally I do not, a Miami stack might be sneaky. Jonah Bride be a sneaky option. Xavier Edwards could be. Otto Lopez. Wagaman has a home run. Kyle Stowers you could look at. And this is the problem. I don't know who's going to start for Miami. Like, I'm not comfortable enough knowing who they're going to throw out there every single day. So we got to wait for lineups to come out. But a Miami stack, I think, goes under owned today. And I think it could be a sneaky stack. And that is your main slate done for DraftKings. All of those games we've covered. Now we've got a 4-game night slate, which starts at 5:35 Central Time, 6:35 Eastern, 3:35 Pacific, and 4:35 Mountain Time. But we got Boston at Baltimore, and the only weather concern is Arizona and New York, so that's something to monitor. You got Garrett Crochet, who just signed his deal, versus Zach Eflin. So Crochet here, I think they overpaid for him. Like, he had 1 good year, but whatever. It's Boston, 6 innings or 6 years. We'll see. Eflin, we did not use him. Did not want to use him last start. And against Boston last year, 2-0 record, 327. But Boston's a better hitting team than they were last year. I'll put it that way. Devers, 2 home runs against him, but Devers has struggled to start the season. It's wild how bad he's been. If you were to use Boston bats, Devers has good numbers. Does he bust out of it here? I don't know. If it's in his head and it's mental, he could be out. Rafaela, you could look at. You could look at Wilyer Abreu. Jaron Duran, I'm okay with. I really like. Another one I would use is probably, depending, I would use Alex Bregman as a stack there. But Eflin for tournaments, I'm okay with because he has had success against them in the past. Crochet is another one. Baltimore is obviously a good team. O'Neill has a home run against him, and Adley has a home run against him. If you were to fade, because I think a lot of people are going to be on Crochet, especially with a 4-game slate, pretty much all the pitchers are up for grabs. Rushman batted 329 against lefties last year with 7 bombs. Mountcastle batted 306 with 4 bombs. Urias would be a cheap option, batted 294. Laureano would be a cheap option. I don't know if he's in there, though. And Tyler O'Neill, 313 batting average, 16 bombs against lefties. Now, I could see Crochet striking out 10, or I could see him giving up 5 runs. I might stack Baltimore against him just because I think it's going to be contrarian and people are going to be on him more, and we could take that advantage of that. Colorado at Philly. I read a stat that Philly and the White Sox, or Colorado and the White Sox starters have not given up very many earned runs to start the season. It's wild. Wheeler against Colorado did not face them last year. Pitching at home last year, 2.16 ERA. I would use him for sure. But then Freeland feels like one of those where he's 6K. It's Philly. I get that. At 6K for SP2 on DraftKings, I would be okay with that. 1 game pitched against Philly last year, didn't do anything. I don't know what happened there. I wonder if he started and then it was like a delay and then he didn't come back out. Freeland sometimes has those massive games. Like if you look at Freeland, like you can see last year, game logs, 4.4, 5.3, 11. Then he had a 23.7. Mid-tier, then 26.2, then 27.6, then 20.3, then minus 10, minus 17. Started off the season terribly. We stacked against him. Then he had some of those games. Now, obviously, Philly's a really good hitting team. Against Freeland, Castellanos has 3 home runs. Trey Turner has 2 home runs. I could see Freeland as a tournament option, but if you want to stack Philly, Real Muto against lefties, we like. Kyle Schwarber, we like. Wouldn't be surprised if Schwarber starts the game off with a bomb. Bohm, we like. Castellanos, Kepler, Trey Turner, I don't mind a Philly stack. I will have exposure to both. I will have Kyle Freeland. If I make 20 lineups, I'll have him in one of my lineups as an SP2. It's a tournament lineup. SP2, I'm okay with that. But Philly as a stack just makes so much sense. Makes so much sense that might be one that you fade a little bit because people are going to be on it a ton. But yeah, I'll have Freeland for like 1 or 2 lineups as an SP2 just to get exposure that I think will be probably less than 2% owned. You guys will be able to see the exposure on the cheat sheet. So if you go under the MLB tab, you go to the cheat sheet, the second tab over will have Fanduel and DraftKings exposure, and it'll show ownership. So it's a projected ownership. So Arizona at New York, we got Carlos Rodon versus Zach Gallen. Rodon last week against Milwaukee struck out 7, gave up 1 run on 4 hits, 2 walks. So he looked good. Splits against Arizona last year, 2 earned runs. The strikeouts were low. That's what stung. And then Gallen got the loss against the Cubs, 4 runs on 4 hits. Obviously, the Yankees are a better hitting team than the Cubs. He struggled there. Splits-wise, struggled worse on the road than he did at home last year. He did get the dub last year, 6 innings, 6 Ks, 25.9 fantasy points. So he had success against them. Yankees bats against Gallen. Grisham has a home run, but that's it. Against right-handed pitching, though, it's okay. If I were to use a stack here, I would use, obviously, Judge. I would use Wells. I would use Jazz. Goldie against his former team, I would use. Bellinger, Volpe, Rice. Like, it makes sense to have couple of different Yankee stacks, but Gallen has had their number. So you might fade the Yankees today. And then Arizona against Rodon. Marte has a home run. Grichuk has a home run. We want to take Eugenio Suarez against a lefty. Had a massive grand slam yesterday. And we like usually against lefties. You can see he batted 256 last year. Gurriel Jr., we like to take against lefties. I would not be surprised if an Arizona stack wins tonight. Marte batted 342 against lefties last year with 18 bombs. Gabriel Moreno had 302 batting average. Perdomo had 318 batting average. Grichuk a 319. Lourdes Gurriel had a 331. Suarez makes sense. This feels like multiple different Arizona stack. I think we see the Yankees, unless something changes and their offense booms again. I think Rodon probably has a bad outing. Obviously, I'm not always going to be right. I just have a feeling, as a Yankee fan, I have a feeling is a bad outing. This Arizona team just mashes lefties. They did last year, and it's basically the same team. So if any of you using torpedo bats, by all means, load up on Arizona bats there. I kind of like Arizona more as a stack than I do the Yankees. Then the final game, the Braves at the Dodgers, the Doyers. I wonder what's going to happen in this game. You've got Blake Snell versus Bryce Elder. Snell against the Braves in his career, or last year, one start, 6.1 innings, 11 strikeouts, 33.3 fantasy points. I mean, he's done well. And then Elder coming in against the Dodgers. I don't trust. He just got called up. Reynaldo Lopez was supposed to be here. Bryce Elder did not make the start. Last year, 3.1 innings, 7 earned runs. What are we going to do? We're going to stack the Dodgers. Blake Snell and then stack the Dodgers. It doesn't matter who you stack. Elder coming in probably doesn't make it past the 4th inning. Probably gives up 6, 7 earned runs again. Dodgers go 7-0 or 8-0, whatever it is. Dodgers aren't going to lose a game at all this year. They're going to go 162-0. It's just what's going to happen. But I'm not bitter. But yeah, that's kind of what I'd look at. 4-game main or late slate. I'm off of Elder. Freeland for tournaments I'm okay with. Eflin for tournaments I'm okay with. Gallen I think probably has a good game. Rodon I'm probably fading. I might fade Crochet. I mean, basically it's the top 2 pitchers. Maybe Crochet, but I don't know. I don't know if I'll play much of this night slate, but yeah, I would look at these 3 pitchers, and yeah, I would stack against Elder. Freeland for tournaments I'm okay with, but Philly's a really good hitting team, so I'll have a stack there as well. I'll have exposure to both sides. It's basically how you take down things in MLB. You got to have both sides. You got to kind of monitor both sides there. So there you have it. Those are the 14 games on the slate. And like we said, we'll go over the top batters through 10,000 simulations. So let's go through them right now. We've got Matt Wallner, number 1. Cheap option. I don't know if this game gets played, though, because of the weather. Juan Soto, 2. Number 3 is Kyle Tucker. 4 is Byron Buxton. 5 is Fernando Tatis Jr. 6 is Bobby Witt Jr. 7 is CJ Abrams. 8, Lawrence Butler. 9, Francisco Lindor. 10, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. 11, Pete Alonso. 12, Yordan Alvarez. Hopefully he comes back soon to the plate and hits home runs. 12, Jackson Merrill. 13, Brandon Nimmo. 14, Wilson Contreras. 15, Jose Ramirez. 16, Anthony Santander. 17, Manny Machado. 18, James Carpenter. 19, or James Wood. 19, Kerry Carpenter. And number 20, Mike Ronaldo Trout. There you have it. Those are just some of the plays, some of the simulations that we've had. If you want to see other things, go check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. We are back to doing things. There will not be an NBA video today because the storm's getting worse outside, and I'm looking and my power, you can't see it in this light, but the power is flickering. This is a battery operated light, so it's not plugged in. So unfortunately, there will not be NBA video today, but we will have NBA content. We'll have the article on the website. We'll have all of the stuff. If you have FTA Plus, we'll have it on the website as well. So that is what I've got. If you have any questions, let me know. Being as the games are early today, I should be able to get out tomorrow's slate for baseball. tonight, this afternoon. And it's Thursday. I don't know how many games there actually are. Let's see. There's only 5 games tomorrow. So it'll be a pretty quick video for you, but we're still going to break it down. 2 games at 12:05 Central, 1 game at 3:10, and then 2 games after 6 p.m. So yeah, I'll still have the video out. I'll get it to you guys. Be a short video. That's kind of usually what a Thursday slate looks like, is short. Usually not only 5 games, but very excited because Verdansk is back tomorrow, guys. So if you're going to be playing, let me know. If there's something if you guys would watch and support a small gaming channel, that would be awesome as well. So that's what I've got today. Good luck, and as always, bring home some bacon. Peace.